Now, I've seen a lot of things floating around about this particular case, and I'm just going to be honest from the outset. Having watched it all, it's very, very clear that the victim in this case is lying to protect her ex-boyfriend. The whole story doesn't add up. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. But I'm going to play it for you here, and it's a bit of a longer one, so I want you to have a think as you're going along and try to figure out where things are falling here. It's not uncommon for victims of domestic abuse and, you know, abusive relationships to eventually go to court and then try to actually defend their abuser in court. There's a video that I did recently, which will be linked up above, where a woman did exactly the opposite, and she came in and absolutely thrashed him in court, and it was awesome. But anyway, let's get stuck into this one. As I said, it's a little bit of a longer one, so sit back and relax, enjoy it, and we'll see how it goes. And before we do, just let me know, did you get notified for this video? So if you just pop that down in the comment section, let me know. I really do appreciate all of your responses on that one. So let's get going.
Court is on the record in City of Pontiac versus Todd Estes II, case number 25 CRB 131. In this case, Mr. Estes pled not guilty to one count of domestic violence, a first-degree misdemeanor, on May 12, 2025. We conducted a first pretrial conference on May 21st, and today we're scheduled for a second pretrial conference in that case. In these cases, Mr. Estes pled not guilty to one count of burglary, a second-degree felony in the CRA case, and one count of domestic violence, a fourth-degree misdemeanor in the CRB case. These cases are set for a preliminary hearing and pretrial conference today. I understand that we're running a preliminary hearing, Mr. Lewis.
It will appear that way, Your Honor.
Okay. Go ahead and call your first. Any argument, counsel?
No, Your Honor.
Wait, that is not.
Okay. Call your first witness, Mr. Lewis.
Your Honor, the state of Ohio will call Dakota Mullen.
Before you're seated, ma'am, can you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Okay, you may be seated. Ms. Mullen, can you ensure that you speak loudly and clearly so that we can make a proper record of this proceeding, okay?
Are you familiar with the defendant, Todd Estes?
Yes.
And how are you familiar with him?
He's my boyfriend.
Are you involved in a domestic violence case with Mr. Estes?
Yes.
You're the victim and he is the defendant.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes. I'm sorry.
And is there a no contact order to your knowledge in that case?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay. I want to direct your attention to May 16th of 2025. Did you encounter Mr. Estes that day?
Yes. Yes.
Yes? How did you encounter him that day?
He was at my window.
I can't hear you.
I'm sorry. He was at my window. That was the day that the burglar, I can't say the word, when he came to my window.
He came to your window?
Oh, I don't know what date that was. I don't remember what happened on the date. Is this for the, burglary charge? I'm sorry, I can't say the word. Yes, he came to my window, yeah.
It's really not uncommon for people to not be able to say the word burglary, especially Scottish people. Any Scottish people out there who are watching right now, comment in the comment section. Is it true that you find it hard to say? Look it up. Look up Scottish people saying purple burglar alarm. It is, quite frankly, hysterical. Anyway, sorry. I just had to interject with that.
Came to your window?
Yes.
Which window?
Back window.
Of your house?
Yes.
What happened next?
We talked through the window, and he came in. But it was no aggression, nothing like that. I gave him water, and then was walking him out, and that's when I sprayed him.
No, I can't hear you.
I'm sorry. I can't.
Speak up louder, man.
I lost my voice.
Something ain't right here already.
He came to my window, and I gave him water after I had him give me all the stuff that he had of mine. And when I was escorting him out, that's when I sprayed him.
What, you sprayed him?
I maced him, yes.
Well, why did you mace him?
I used to be a CO. I always have mace on me. I used to be a CO. I always have mace on
Corrections
me,
officer.
especially when they're with what happened. Just in case anything were to happen, I could protect myself.
So just so I understand.
My Lanta. Okay, hold on now a second. So first and foremost, he appears at an upstairs window. Okay, just clarify that. An upstairs window. What, did he come on his broomstick? Like, I don't know. And then she talked about escorting him out. So presumably she left him in the upstairs window, or else he forced his way in the upstairs window. She gives him water and his stuff and receives her stuff. And it's all chill, right? Based on how she's saying it now and the things that she says later on. But it does change quite a few times during the whole story. But in any event, it's all pretty chill. And then she's just casually escorting him out and says, oh yeah, by the way, psh, and sprays him for no reason, just because she used to be a corrections officer. Like, there must have been a reason to spray him, right? I mean, even a preemptive spray, there must have been something that led her to believe that she would need to spray him to either protect herself from him or to stop him from doing something. It's just straight away, it doesn't add up. If anything, that would be her getting a charge. Right? I don't know. It's just really weird, but we'll see how it goes from here.
You're saying you allowed him to come into your house?
Yes.
You allowed him to?
The window was unlocked, yes. But
Did you tell the Conneaut Police Department on May 16th that he climbed up the side of your house, came in the second story window?
yes,
Okay, so which is true?
he climbed up to the second story and he came in my window, but I was there with water. After I talked to him and made sure he was there.
Did you tell the Conneaut Police Department that he lunged at you?
Yes, he did.
Okay, is that what you told the Conneaut Police Department that day?
Yes, and that is what happened.
And then you maced him? Is that what you...
Yes, that's when I was escorting him out. I don't know if it was aggressive or not, but regardless, I maced him because
Let me ask you this, what happened
fight or
after
flight.
you maced him?
He left, and I called the police.
Did he have permission to be in your home?
Legally, no. And technically, no.
Did he have permission to be in your home, yes or no?
No.
And you are aware that there is a no contact provision of his bond in the domestic violence case, is that correct?
Yes.
So just so we're clear here, your testimony is that on May 16th of this year, Mr. Estes climbed up the side of your house, is that
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
And he came in through a second story window,
Yes.
okay? Was he permitted to come into your house that day?
Legally, no.
Okay. And he lunged at you?
As I was escorting him out, yes.
I'm so confused. Okay, so she keeps saying legally no, and I assume what she's talking about there is the fact that he had a protection order against him to stay away from her. But I guess the question is, did she allow him to enter the house is the point.
So yes.
Yes.
And then you maced him.
Yes.
And then what happened after that?
He left. He ran, and I called the police.
And you called the police?
Yes.
And did the police come?
Yes.
Do you remember who you spoke to that evening? Police officer?
Officer Dan and it was you, right? Him and him.
And did you give a written statement to the police officers?
I just agreed with what questions. I didn't write anything,
Okay.
but
They took a statement from you?
yes.
And you described to them what you just basically described
Yes.
to us, correct? You indicated that Mr. Estes lunged at you, is that correct?
Yes.
And then you maced him.
Yes.
And then after you maced him, he fled, is that correct?
Yes.
I have no further questions at this time, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Sayed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good afternoon, Dakota.
Okay, so like off the rip now, again, I've heard a lot of people comment on this particular case quite a bit. Some incredibly harsh towards her, and obviously a lot of people incredibly harsh towards the defendant, and some people going after the judge. And I think, to be fair to the judge, I won't have a spoiler or whatever necessarily about what happens, but like the judge can only go with what he sees in court, what's on the record, what's given as evidence, right? That's all, that's their job. And if they didn't do that, people would complain as well. So that's one thing. I don't blame the judge in this. And we all know that this judge is sharp as a tack. So there's no question about it. To me, this lady, this is a terrified lady here. That's very clear. Now, of course, she's in court giving evidence. She's obviously a bit stressed and nervous about that. But straight off the rip, her body language, everything, the way she's speaking, the way she's telling her story tells me that she's terrified. Is she terrified of this guy? It seems so, based on his history and why they're here in the first place. But essentially, she is to some effect lining herself up to be what's known as a hostile witness. That's a witness who intentionally, misdirects or doesn't answer things the way they have in the past. And that's a very challenging thing for a prosecutor in particular. So it's one thing to have, an opposition witness as, a hostile witness, somebody who's not making your job easy, but to have your own key witness as a hostile witness must be really, really difficult. So anyway, yeah, let's get back into it. Let me know down in the comment section so far. So just put like up until whatever I think X, and then we'll see if it lines up with what you think further on down the line.
Good afternoon. Sorry, it's hard seeing them like that.
First, how did you get here today?
I was escorted here.
By who?
An officer, they suspended my license.
So the police department came and got you here?
Yes,
How long have you known Todd?
a long time.
Roughly how many years?
I met him when I was 17.
How old are you now?
I'm 24.
So 7 years.
Yeah, oh my god, yeah.
How long have you guys been dating?
Since right after Christmas.
Just past Christmas.
Yes.
So 5 months, 6 months now, almost. You guys are still dating?
Yeah.
Yeah, hold on. You don't speak. Go ahead. Answer his question. Are you still dating?
Yes.
You two are still together.
As far as I'm aware, yes.
Was your relationship always rocky from the start?
No.
It was good in the beginning?
Yes, sir.
So let's talk about, first, the prosecutor brought up the fact that there's an ongoing domestic violence case with Todd. Is that correct?
Yes.
Who else has an ongoing domestic violence case against you?
Objection.
Yeah, sustained.
Let's talk about the incident that happened on May 16th, 2025.
Yes.
Okay? You said Todd climbed up the second story.
Yes.
How did he climb up the second story?
A ladder.
Okay. He brought a ladder with him?
No, my backyard is filled with junk. It's not that hard to get in any window in the house.
Did you know he was coming?
No.
Did you leave the door, did you leave the window open?
No, I opened it.
You opened it for him?
Yes.
You let him in?
After seeing his feet bleeding, him needing water, and he hasn't eaten in days, or I haven't heard from him in days, yeah.
So you let him in?
I unlocked the window after getting my belongings, which included stuff from my car, yes. To give him water and food and clothes that he wanted, that's what he came there for. And I went to go escort him out, and that's...
Okay. So, I'm sorry, I didn't hear. I know you lost your voice.
I'm sorry.
You said he came with your belongings and then he left with his belongings?
He didn't get the chance to get his belongings because I felt safer if he was out back.
Okay.
Well, I grabbed his bag that I already had packed. But I honestly don't remember if we were arguing or what, but I wanted him outside, and I kind of liked that after that.
But you allowed Mr. Estes to come inside.
Yes. Legally, he was not allowed there, but yes, I did let him in.
So that's what you meant earlier when you said legally, no.
Yes.
But you let him inside.
Yes.
There was no forced entry.
No.
Mr. Estes didn't break the glass to get in. He didn't use a weapon.
He didn't even try to break in a door. He knocked on the window.
Okay.
He was not aggressive at all. He needed help.
Just real quick, one would assume that she has a front door, right? Like, why not just knock on the front door and be like, hey, can I have my stuff back? Even though you shouldn't be there in the first place because of the PPO or whatever. But like, why not just knock at the door and be like, hey, can I get my stuff back? Oh yeah, sure thing. Come around to the upstairs window, find yourself a ladder among the junk or whatever. After that, fine. Why you just immediately go for a ladder and up to the side window if there isn't some divilment afoot? Do you know what I'm saying? It just doesn't add up.
He wasn't stealthy.
To
But he wasn't trying to sneak in and catch you
No.
by surprise. Okay. He didn't use a deceitful manner to come inside your house, like pretending to be someone outside.
No, he said, please let me get my things. I want to go. Let me get some water. I'm hot. I'm his only home out here. And after I retrieved the things he took from my car, and I felt safe enough to grab his bag, give him water, food, and shoes, and send him on his way, I opened the window.
The shoes you gave him, were they his?
He did not end up getting shoes.
Okay.
When he came in, I said, can we go downstairs so I feel safe when you're outside? I'll grab everything I already have packed and whatnot. And it just said he didn't end up leaving with any of his belongings. But the shoes would have been his, yeah.
The shoes would have. Okay, so can we back up a little bit, please?
Yes.
So yes.
Mr. Estes was living with you.
Yes.
How long were you guys living together?
He was since early January, first week.
So the beginning of your relationship, you guys were already living together?
Practically, yeah.
Okay. So his stuff was there.
Everything of his is there.
Everything of his was there.
Yes.
So that night on May 16th, and when you let him in, he was just grabbing his stuff. He wanted to grab his stuff.
Yes.
Okay. So he wasn't trying to take anyone else's property. Who else lived with you in this home?
Me, my mother,
Mhm.
and my stepdad.
So total 5 people.
4.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry, 4 people.
Yeah.
So 4 people. So when Todd came that night, okay, he didn't give you the impression he was trying to take.
It was still daytime.
Oh, the daytime. Okay. He didn't give you the impression he was trying to take anyone else's belongings.
No, he was not aggressive. He was just begging for his things and water. And I seen how roughed up his feet were. He looked a mess and he needed help. And I'm the only person he knows out here that would be willing to help him. And I don't care who it is. If they look like they're dying, I'm going to help them.
Do you still love Todd?
Yes.
You love him right now.
Yeah.
You care for him.
Yes.
That's why you let him in that night.
Yes.
Yeah, all right. No further questions.
I'm very confused. So this is kind of like the second break here between my thoughts in the first part of this to now, following on from what we just heard. I'm slightly more confused. So her elaboration on certain things definitely cleared some things up, but I'm definitely way more confused. So, for example, the first thing, legally not being allowed in the house, she was referring to the PPO, not her not allowing him in. Why he didn't knock on the front door, I assume is probably makes sense because there's other family members there that maybe he didn't want to interact with or whatever for fear of getting in trouble. And then it leads us to why the lies? There's clearly lies here. There's no doubt about it, because what she said in the police report versus what she's saying now is totally different. And it even changes throughout her story, as we've already seen. But why, I think, is the big question. So my initial reaction in that first portion, the first line of questioning, was that she's just terrified of this guy based on what happened. Now, again, she didn't mace him. Why did she mace him? I don't know. My initial thought was, well, maybe he did something and that was the reaction, or maybe it seemed like he was going to do something and that was the preemptive, strike, so to speak. Now, though, I'm kind of thinking, could there be another element to this? Could it be another side to it, or, two separate sides to it, as there always is, and then the truth is somewhere in the middle? Could it be that maybe when she rang the cops after macing him, that was a lie at the time? What she told the cops then was a lie, and what she's saying now is the truth, or some kind of picture of the truth? Because it's still weird to me that she maced him. So that's one of two things. Either he did something or was about to do something that caused her to act that way, or she did it for some other reason entirely. Maybe calling the cops and macing him and all that stuff was part of an elaborate plan because he shouldn't have been there in the first place. Maybe she did lie to them about him. I don't know. Right now, I'm kind of like, well, which is it? I'm still leaning more towards my first thought, which is that she's probably afraid of him. But I think it could be a mixture of the two. Maybe there's a pair of them in it. They got into it. She came out the better because she was the one with the fucking mace. I don't know, but this is a tricky one. I would not like to be adjudicating this.
Thank you. Any redirect?
Yes, Your Honor, thank you. Ms. Mullen, why didn't you just let Mr. Estes in the front door?
I didn't hear him knocking.
He knocked on the front door?
That's what he said. I've been knocking for a minute out. I don't know how long, but I did not hear him.
Why would someone who was welcome in your home put a ladder up against your house and climb up the side of the house and enter through a second-story window?
Because the doors were locked and I was not answering because I had music playing, so I did not hear him knocking.
So your testimony today is that you let him into the house. Is that correct?
Yes.
When you just testified, when I was questioning you, that he did not have permission to be in your house.
Legally, no. He did not have permission to be in the house. If it was a different circumstance...
So if everything was so nice and lovey-dovey on May 16th, 2025, why did you mace him, and why didn't you call the cops?
I maced him because I was trained as a CO that if anybody lunges at me, I protect myself. And there was... And he needs psychiatric help. I don't know who or what state of mind he was in when he lunged at me, but regardless of who it is, if I feel that I could be in danger, I'm going to protect myself. But he seemed fine upstairs. I don't know why he lunged. I don't know.
So if he had permission to be in your house, Ms. Mullen, why'd you call the cops?
I called the cops because he lunged at me. But
He lunged at you.
yes.
Okay. You didn't tell the cops that he came up the side of your house on a ladder, came in through a window. You didn't tell the officers any of that?
No, I did.
Okay.
That's exactly what
You
happened
just
too.
testifying, Mr. Syed said you let him in the house.
Yes, I said he came into the window. He did not break in the window.
Oh, okay. So you let him in the house?
Through the window
Story window.
that he climbed up, yes. But if it was different circumstances, if he was aggressive at the window, if he had intentions of malicious intent, I would not have let him in.
You didn't hear him knocking on the front door, but you heard
It
him
was-
knocking on a second-story window. Is that your testimony?
Because it's right by my room. It's right by my room, and he was knocking at the back door, I guess, because my stepdad screws the front door shut, so you can't get in there.
Wait, he screws the front door shut? Who are you trying to keep out? Oh, well, I mean, I suppose the fact that we're here talking about this right now probably is an indicator of that, but literally screws it shut. That's some zombie apocalypse kind of stuff right there.
Connor, I'm going to approach the witness, if I may, and offer her, this is going to be State's Exhibit A. This is a written statement that she provided to law enforcement that night because her testimony is way off base from what gets really said and says.
Objection, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
She stated that the police officers wrote the statement for her. She never actually wrote a statement.
And
Did she testify that?
I believe she did earlier.
yes,
That's why I brought it up.
So there's a statement that you have that she signed. Does this have her signature?
There appears to be two different handwritings on here, Your Honor. I would assume one of those handwritings belongs to Ms. Mullen.
Okay. So are you trying to treat this witness as hostile?
I'm sorry, Your Honor.
Are you trying to treat this witness, your witness, as hostile right now?
Yes, Your Honor. She's given testimony here today that is not at all consistent with what.
Let me see your statement, then. Let me see your statement. Here, we'll get it. Go ahead. I'm allowing the prosecution to treat Ms. Mullen as a hostile witness.
So now I don't know enough about how that specifically works. So the fact that the judge had to put it on the record that she's a hostile witness, I'm assuming it means that the rules of how the person is treated obviously change, right? So I'm just having a look. A hostile witness called by a party who believes they are unwilling to tell the truth can be treated differently in court. Unlike a regular witness, a hostile witness can be cross-examined and asked leading questions by the party who called them. Okay, well, that makes sense. This allows the party to challenge the witness's credibility and elicit information that might contradict their testimony. So a detailed breakdown, credibility challenge, cross-examination, loading questions. A party can use leading or loaded questions with a hostile witness. Leading questions suggest the answer that the examiner wants. If a witness refuses to cooperate with the court, they may be found guilty of contempt of court. So there we go. So it is a case that they are treated differently. So that is good to know. All right, so that adds a whole new element to it. Let's have a look.
What do you have there in your hands, Ms. Mullen?
the statement that was written on the 16th.
Okay. Does your handwriting appear on that document?
Yeah.
What part of that is your handwriting?
The top part.
The first paragraph?
Yes.
Okay. Could you read that for the court?
Todd Estes climbed up the side of my house. He came in my window. As I was walking him out, he lunged at me and I maced him and he ran out the back door.
Anything in there about you let him in the house?
No, I just said he came in the window.
Could you read the rest of the written statement?
Yes.
So again, so it does seem based on what she said there that, you know, it's quite straightforward. What it would indicate based on what she said is that he climbed in a top window, got into the house, lunged at her, she maced him, and then that's when she called the cops. That seems fairly straightforward to me. Not this elaborate story of, you know, I let him in, I was trying to look after his feet, etc., etc. He may or may not have lunged at me, so I maced him preemptively just in case he would do that thing. It's just too much. But I suppose the question still hangs out there. The question still remains, did she lie then to the cops or is she lying now? I still think she's lying now, and that stuff probably did happen the way it was indicated in the initial police report. So anyway, I don't know. Let me know what you think so far, though. It's really interesting.
I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time reading it. Did Mr. Estes have permission to be in the house? No. Which I meant legally. Is Mr. Estes allowed to have contact with you? No contact order? No. Do you want to pursue charges against him? No. Did Mr. Estes... I'm sorry,
Go ahead.
I can't read it.
That's fine. That's fine. So anything in that written statement about that you let Mr. Estes into your house? No. Anything in there about giving him his belongings?
No.
And in that statement, you indicated that he did not have permission to be in your home. Is that correct?
Yes, because legally he could not.
Sorry?
Yes, because he legally could not be there.
And you maced him.
Yes.
And you called the cops.
Yes. I've seen a switch in his eyes, and he needs help. He needs medication. So I don't know what he changed to, but whether it was malicious or not, I'm not taking chances. I maced him, yes.
So you saw a slight change in his eyes, and again, just now she didn't mention about him actually lunging at her, just that she saw a change in his eyes, didn't know if that change was malicious or not, so preemptively maced him in the face. It just doesn't add up. Like, it makes absolutely no sense to me. I mean, even if she has experience of, you know, anytime he has that look in his eyes, he starts thrashing the place or whatever, fine. But I don't know, man. It's a weird one.
So just to be clear, you did not tell Officer Burlingham or any other officer that you let him in your house. Is that true?
I can't recall, but on here, no.
So you didn't tell him that?
No.
Okay. What did you tell him?
I told him that he came in my window.
And that he didn't have permission to be there, correct?
Legally, no.
Thank you. No further questions.
Thank you. Yeah, I'll just allow some recross on what Mr. Lewis just asked. Any recross?
Thank you, Your Honor. Dakota, I understand on the witness statement, it says you never mentioned anything about not letting him in. Your window was open, correct? Or you opened it?
I opened it.
You opened it for Todd.
Yes.
Okay. No further questions, Your Honor.
Thank you. You're excused, Ms. Mullen, but you're not going anywhere because we have a traffic case we have to address with you after this is over. So you can go to the back of the courtroom.
Leave it here. I'm sorry.
Argument, Mr. Lewis.
Thank you, Your Honor. Clearly, Ms. Mullen is a little bit confused, maybe not sure what she wanted to do with this case. She indicated in the written statement there, States Exhibit A, that she didn't want to press charges. That's fine, but if you don't want to press charges, why do you call the police to your home? Why do you mace the individual that you told officers did not have permission to come into your house and enter through a second-story window? Why would you do these things? She clearly, in her mind, testified that her and Mr. Estes are still in a relationship. She has a bias of trying to protect Mr. Estes from this prosecution. But it's clear, Your Honor, based on her testimony, her written statement, Officer Burlingham's testimony about smelling mace in the house, that the version of events that she gave to officers in that written statement, States Exhibit A, is what is true. Why else would she have called law enforcement on that night if it were not true? There's evidence of a ladder. Officer Burlingham saw the ladder that shows that Mr. Estes entered the home through a second-story window, knocked on a window that was apparently non-existent, and came into the home. Your Honor, the complaint indicates that on or about May 16th, City of Conneaut, Mr. Estes did by force, stealth, or deception rather, trespass in an occupied structure. Another person other than an accomplice was present, namely Dakota Mullins, with the purpose to commit in the structure any criminal offense, to wit, domestic violence. Contrary to Mr. Syed's argument, he is charged with lunging at her. That is where the domestic violence count comes in. Under 2919.25C. Your Honor, the victim, alleged victim's own statement makes it clear that the state of Ohio has shown probable cause that Mr. Estes committed a burglary on May 16th. And the state of Ohio is requesting that the case be bound over to the grand jury. for their consideration, and the misdemeanor case would also accompany that. It's clear that Ms. Estes was telling partial truths when she was here on the stand, and that her written statement is in fact a clearer recitation of what actually happened on May 16th. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Sage.
Your Honor, this case is about whether Todd Estes and Ms. we understand that Todd and Dakota have a complicated history. I know this, the law director knows this, court knows this, okay? We're not here to talk about the macing or the lunch. We're here to see if he committed burglary, and if there's probable cause presented by that. There isn't any today. Mr. Lewis wants to paint this picture that Dakota's been lying. She didn't lie. The witness statement is true to what she's been testifying today. The window was open. He came in through the window. She didn't go into detail. Obviously, it's like a sheet of paper, which to the court's attention I have not seen. But she stated she let him in. She let him have water. She stated there was no force, there was no stealth, there was no deception. We've heard from Officer Birmingham. He investigated the scene. He said there was no force detected. We know that there was a ladder there because Dakota said that there was that her stepdad was drunk in the back and there was ladders back there. In her own words, I allowed him to come in. That's not trespass. And if there's no trespass, there's no burglary. So at this time, Your Honor, there's not enough probable cause here for this to get found over. He doesn't meet the requirements of burglary. There was no force, there was no stealth, and there was no deception. Dakota welcomed him in as if he was a guest. She took care of him. She even mentioned, I wanted him to grab his belongings because his belongings weren't there. They lived together since January. He was returning her belongings, I believe. So for the evidence presented today, including her testimony and the testimony of Officer Birmingham that there was no force, this does not meet the statutory requirements of Revised Code 2911.12. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Any argument responding, Mr. Lewis?
Well, contrary to what Mr. Syed is saying, there doesn't need to be force. There can be stealth. I don't think it's... I think that the circumstantial evidence, aside from Ms. Mullen's testimony, shows what happened here, Your Honor. She called the cops. She called law enforcement. She called 911. That's why they responded. She also amazed Mr. Estes, and the officer Burlingham testified they could still smell the mace in the house. So you've got a ladder leaning up against a window. You've got an individual who was maced, and you've got a young lady who called the police and initially told the police that he entered through a second-story window and that he had no permission to be in the house. And that's what her written statement says. You don't have to show forced entry here, Your Honor. It could be by force, stealth, or deception. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. So one thing I wanted to address is 25 CRB 131. This is the original domestic violence case. He was charged, he pled not guilty, domestic. I ordered as conditions of his bond that he have no contact with Dakota Mullen and remain off the premises. He entered that plea on May 12th. We conducted a pretrial conference on May 21st, at which time the law director orally withdrew its motion to revoke bond that was filed on May 19th. So I just want to make sure that that was orally withdrawn.
It was, Your Honor. At the hearing, Ms. Mullen did not appear for that hearing. The court would recall, and I had no choice but to withdraw my motion at that time.
Okay. Okay, in looking at Ms. Mullen's written statement, Todd Estes climbed up the side of my house, came in the window, and then something walking out, he lunged at me. I maced him, he ran off the back door. In her written statement, and even in the questions that follow, it doesn't mention about how he entered the second story of the home, whether she let him in or not. I'm sure in calling the police. She probably led the police. That's why they did the investigation, to believe that he probably was there. But at least with respect to consistency of testimony here between her written statement and her testimony today, there doesn't seem to be inconsistency about how he entered, whether she let him in or whether she knew about it. But her testimony today is that she allowed him to enter to get his clothes. So, yeah, I did order him to stay out in the 25 CR 31 case, but that cannot be used as a basis for trespass. I'll deal with that here shortly. So not only did Mr. Estes not trespass, but there's no evidence that he entered this property with purpose to commit domestic violence. There's no evidence whatsoever. That was his reason, based on Ms. Mullen, was to get clothes and to get water, and something happened as she was walking him out. I do find, based on the evidence presented after preliminary hearing today, that probable cause has not been established for the offense of burglary in case number 25 CRA 148, and this case, bond will be discharged, and this case will be dismissed. We will schedule 25 CRB 149, that's the domestic violence case, for another pretrial conference on the same date as the other cases, for June 2nd, 2025 at 9 a.m. I am revoking the defendant's bond based on the testimony, whether there's a pending motion or not. In 25 CRB 131, the court's own motion, the defendant clearly violated the court's bond in 25 CRB 131 when I ordered him to have no contact with Dakota Mullen and to remain off the premise. I did allow him to retrieve his personal belongings at that residence with a police escort only. And that didn't happen. And I guess people don't care what I ordered and guess conditions his bond, so I'm revoking his bond in that case. And he will be held without bond in that case.
Oh, well. Kind of.
In this case,
screwed either way,
will
bud.
as well be set for another pretrial conference for June 2nd at 9 a.m. Okay.
So that is the end of that one. Now, she has a traffic matter that's also recorded here, but it's not really relevant for this anyway. That's a bloody tough one. That's one of the more difficult ones I've come across. Like, clearly there was a lie one way or the other. Now, the judge made a really good point that while technically she didn't make any comments that would say absolutely that he broke in or whatever the case may be, I think it was pretty obvious given the context of the situation, and the judge touched on that too, that, like, you know, he climbed in a second story window, ended up getting maced, cops called, obviously something went down. Or something didn't go down and she's lying now. It's, I don't know, or was lying then rather. It's just too weird for words. But I get the impression that the judge kind of knew that she was lying here today, because, you know, obviously he revoked the bond in the other matter because part of that was that he wasn't to have any contact or go to that property without a police officer there to retrieve his stuff. Now, maybe he was just following the letter of the law there. I know he obviously has some level of discretion as to whether or not he wants to pull the bond in that matter, but I get the impression that he knew full well that she was trying to get him out, and he's like, hell nah. But anyway, lads and lassies, there we go. That was quite a bit of a roller coaster there. I hope you enjoyed that one. It was a fascinating one for me. And yeah, we'll catch you in the next one. Sláinte.